NVIDIA marking a major milestone on the stock market. The Santa Clara-based chipmaker is now the world's most valuable company. NVIDIA stock topped $4 trillion in value today, with shares rising as much as 2.5%. It surpasses Apple's record of $3.9 trillion market value set last December. This record comes as OpenAI, Microsoft, and Amazon all race to spend billions of dollars in order to be the leaders in the artificial intelligence revolution.
All right, for more perspective here on what this all means, we're joined live by tech expert Ahmed Banafa, engineering professor from San Jose State University. Professor, good to see you and great to have you on as always. Let's talk about what led to this important moment here. Why do you think it was NVIDIA that was the first company ever to reach this milestone?
Good to talk to you, Alex and Christina. Here's the case. We are in Silicon Valley. The sky is the limit. So what you're looking at here, it's an exciting time to live in Silicon Valley. Now, why we are at this moment and why NVIDIA is the one that hitting the $4 trillion ceiling and going through that ceiling is because it's the AI chip company. In order for you to have any system, that AI system, you need three things. You need the data, you need the hardware, and you need the algorithms, the programs. NVIDIA control 92% of the hardware market, and this is why they are in this position.
Yeah, can you explain for people? I know here in the Bay Area, we know NVIDIA because it's based in our backyard, but for people across the world, they may not have that brand recognition. Can you kind of break down what they actually do for those who are not familiar?
Excellent question. They started as, a graphic card for games, for the computer games. And then at a certain point, they realized that processing the data, it is, the future. And then we have this revolution of the AI. They're making chips. Those chips are responsible for running the data that we need when we ask questions to ChatGPT or Gemini or the others. And they are selling each one of those chips for about, $30,000 to $40,000, cost them about $6,000 to $7,000. So now you see how is this difference here. They spend $6.5 billion every year on R&D. We are talking about a company that has no limit when it comes to the research and the coming up with new chips, because as we advance, we need more powerful chips that can run the systems we are using now.
All right, so you talked about the fact that the sky is the limit in Silicon Valley and for NVIDIA, it would seem. And we have obviously all of the major players in Silicon Valley, all the tech giants, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, and Alphabet, obviously spending hundreds of billions of dollars right now investing in the latest AI technology. What does all of that mean for NVIDIA and its valuation moving forward?
Well, I mean, NVIDIA is unique. They have their niche in the market. I mean, one of the things that driving them with this speed is something called sovereign AI, or the AI factory. So they're not selling you the chip, they're selling you the whole story. They have the whole data center will be powered by all the chips of NVIDIA. And this is something that you cannot find it in any of the companies that around NVIDIA. The next competition for NVIDIA is AMD, and they have something like 11%, of the market, in certain parts, and less than 10% in the AI chip. So for them, they got this niche. They understand that this is the need, and this is why all those companies you listed, Alex, they need NVIDIA. They're not competing with NVIDIA. Even with a company like Alphabet, they have their chip, which is used in their data center. It's not as powerful as NVIDIA.
Can you talk about whether or not you think somebody else or another company might surpass them? Because it seems like they have a pretty strong market dominance, even with companies like Apple and Nike that typically dominate the stock market. I mean, they've kind of surpassed, like we said, even though they don't have that brand recognition globally, they've kind of surpassed them. Can you talk about their market dominance?
Well, that's a good point, Christina. Here's the catch about NVIDIA. I'm telling you that by the end of the year, there's a lot of talk about NVIDIA going through the $5 trillion. And there's some people say that's going to go through the $6 trillion because, if you look at the numbers, it's now $162 a share. All what you need to get to that $6 trillion is $250 per share. It's not, it's not that something which is impossible for companies in Silicon Valley. For NVIDIA itself to be in this, level, they are not something that like Apple or like, which is a consumer product where people can have the whole product. They are inside the computer. They are inside the data center. And a lot of companies and a lot of countries, they're spending tons of money to get their hands on the chips, which they sell it for tens of thousands of dollars. Here's a fact here about it. 76% of the staff working at NVIDIA, they are millionaires on the fact that their stock is getting to that level. 76%. You're not going to find any company has that level of wealth within the company itself.
Yeah, it is pretty remarkable to see. They clearly have the market cornered when it comes to microchips to power AI systems. We appreciate the perspective. Always great to have you on. That is San Jose State Professor Ahmed Banafa. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right.